Good evening, friends. I've got a peculiar amplifier on the bench here this evening, which I thought it might be good showing it to you. Some might know it and some might not, and they've been sold under a couple of brand names. But this amplifier is it goes by the most popular name of the Chameleon. It used to be a silver amplifier with a badge named Chameleon in the middle. And then you got the Quested, like this one, and then Dynaudio also made use of these. I'm not quite sure who made these. There's very little information on the internet, and I'm actually also not quite sure where they were made, if they were made in the UK or in the US. But there's a lot of design cues in the amplifier that wants to tell me it's been made in the UK. Especially the capacitors. And then one of the most prominent things that makes this amplifier so peculiar, and not in any electronic way really, but the most obvious is the mechanical sense, that it is only 1 U thick. That is it. That's the amplifier. 1 U. And that's the transformer. It is that thick. It's probably less thick than a Burger King Whopper. Probably about the same size, maybe slightly bigger. And it's a very deep amplifier. This thing is approaching 500 millimeters in depth. High power amplifier. Not quite sure what the power on this one is. It's a model 1500, so the assumption is that you divide that figure in half in making it a 750 watt per channel amplifier. There's a couple of people on the internet talking about them and just saying what horrible amplifiers they are in terms of build and repairing them, but there's a lot of people that say that they sound very good. I must say the little bit of testing that I'm doing at the moment is it sounds good. It's nice and clear and hi-fi like. This was surely a much higher end amplifier for professional use in recording studios, as opposed to just a brutal amplifier for public address and systems like live concert rigs. It's got a very fancy click dial attenuator system for each channel with signal indicator and protection and signal protection. And then it's got a cooling fan, a very flat squirrel cage type cooling fan that pressurizes the inside of this cabinet. It's got a lid that goes on top. But with a positive pressure, air is forced through the gaps between the output transistors. Now these are the wide Sanken output transistors with 2 screws per transistor, and then the air comes out of these curve-like shaped heat sinks. It's got a lovely curve in there. It's not just a void. Let me just see if I can get some light in there, and you can almost barely see the transistors in there. So it's a really quirky amplifier in terms of mechanical design, because surely they could have packaged the whole thing in a more regular cabinet, the regular depth cabinet, but either 3 or 4 U size with a more regular transformer. But then again, this was probably some designer's dream of doing it this way. One benefit of a flat amplifier like this is you can get quite a couple of them one on top of the other in a flight case. Connections to the back is quite formal in terms of TRS jacks and XLRs, one per channel, and then just regular binding posts, so there's no speak-on connectors, and this thing is bridgeable, so then it turns into a real beast. Now the problem I had with this guy is its inrush current system, this little board sitting here with a green resistor on, was not functioning properly. The engagement time took too long, and it made the current limiting resistor, the original one, fail. So I've done a couple of circuit corrections there. There was, for instance, no flyback diode over the relay coil, and the current limiting resistor feeding the relay coil was a little bit on the larger side, so I installed a slightly smaller resistance value resistor, making the relay kick in within a reasonable time, and then the current limiting resistor I've also upped to about 22 ohms, or to 22 ohms, to make the current rush in curve slightly shallower. So it's very happy now. It turns on and turns off without too much drama and trouble. And that's it for the Quested D1500 Power Amplifier, also known as the Chameleon, and also used way back by Dynaudio. Have a good one, folks.